jungle or the Baron laner. Jarvan could also be a very good candidate to add more depth to the Galio pick here with the Aegis entrance. Could be easily added by the Cataclysm or even the Flag and Drag. There's so much value that you could get from this Galio. So with the Ezreal hover, we might just see a Yuumi being played out here, or even a Nami, so that there is some form of disengage over to the Camille pick. But with this Ezreal, there's a blank slate here, as the support role is still being filled out here by both teams.
Yeah, it's an option if they want to consider it. For the side of SSE, they're opting once again to go to Severe. So an option of going in for the likes of Garen once again will be an open position for SSE if they want to go for that all-in type of setup as they did back in game 1.
Okay, so there's not going to be any much more here for the side of SSE. It's going to be all reliable. Much like game number 1, we are taking on a nostalgia trip on how SSE just overly dominated the game, as SKIDA is now fully equipped and prepared, because they now have the number of SSE in that game number 2 matchup. So we might just see how will that play. But then again, there's still some slots here waiting to be filled by SKIDA when it comes to countering most of the champion picks here of SSE, which they already filled up the Baron, the Dragon, plus the jungle role now here. So a jungle role that could easily pressure out the Aatrox. A Lee Sin once again for Fate.
Yeah, Lee Sin is going to be impactful here for SKIDA to scale into the early game once again. So Sona being removed is actually a good deny here by SKIDA, especially considering how game number 1 opted to go for SSE. Sona Silver combo, go charge for the rest of the team. So that being removed, SSE will now be forced to think about what the next support is going to be.
Pwede naman mag-Fiora ang SKIDA kung gusto na talagang counterin yung Aatrox dito, at least with the value that they could get from the Fiora. Pwede rin siya mag-teamfight, plus the presence of getting that side lane to be really, really nice for SKIDA to counteract both Aatrox and the Camille in this current situation. So with the Gwen band here, that's going to give them so much opportunities for them to pick probably a good Braum or even that Fiora. But then again, SKIDA is really indeed unpredictable in this current situation.
Yeah, SKIDA can go and deny the Garen as well. Oh my word. I knew it. Because the thing is, if you have to consider, they went in for the Sona ban, they went in for the Gwen ban. And remember, game number 1, it was SKIDA who went for the Gwen. So they're now just removing the champions of SSE.
Okay, Lilia, which could put some form of magic damage over to SSE, but that opens up a possible path for Aatrox to play mid instead of the jungle over here. So there it is. Lilia will be going to the jungle, and this Aatrox is most likely going to be into the mid lane, as there's going to be a source of magic damage now for SSE with a very hard lockdown from the Maokai here. Everything is just speaks engage and team fight from the comp of SSE.
Yeah, still that all-in na setup na pwede gawin dito ng SSE in terms of their composition. But of course, they're still lacking when it comes to like the how Sona was able to give a lot of sustain, was able to give a lot of buffs from the prior game number 1. But this still definitely works because you have that long-range distance sleep coming from Lilia. You have Maokai's ultimate that could really name disaster against SKIDA in a 5v5 team fight.
As you can see, SKIDA not far from their team combat from game number 2 with a substitute here, as the Garen is now being played here at the Baron lane that could put so much probably over to the life of the Sivir or even Nymeria. But it's going to be played out once again here by Fate on how he paces up the map for both the solo laners, plus the fact that he still has to counteract that, oh my god, Camille and Lilia. Very nice early game for them. So this Lee Sin has to play it very smartly to the bot lane duo that could either give him prio and get that objective, or play that skirmish perfectly for SKIDA to get those crucial wins.
Yeah, this will be hard though for SSE, because in the prior game, the reason why they're able to have that gap into a Severe is because they went in for the switch in lanes. And it was Ezreal that they're battling up against in the bot side. It was Garen that was having that mirror matchup, or was having that matchup into the bottom lane. But now that's not going to happen. Even if they put in the Aatrox is not as tanky as a Garen would be, along with the non-existent of the passive of Garen of having just that extra sustain and regen when you're not in battle. That will be a big question mark on how SSE is going to play this out here in this deciding match.
Okay, so As we wait for the game to open, I would like to give a huge shout out to the supporters out here of Wild that is currently tuned in to the Facebook live stream of Rounds Pilipinas Open. I'd like to give in behalf of the production plus everyone that is building around Rounds Pilipinas Open, me and Infinity, we would like to say thank you for your continued support for watching the whole tournament from the first second up until this moment. I'm pretty sure na excited na rin ako at kayo rin excited dito sa paparating na game number 3 between SKIDA and SSE as we wait momentarily. Pagkatapos nun, meron pa tayong isang best of 3 at pagkatapos meron pang isa, so hindi talaga tayo magkukulang pagdating sa aksyon ng Wild Rift dito sa araw na to.
Dami na. May isa pa tayong best of 3, may isa pa pagkatapos. Dami. May tatlo tayo for the day, basically. And we're just starting off with the Open Qualifiers number 1. So we'll see how this deciding match will come into a conclusion. Because right now, it's anybody's game. SSE's composition has a lot of pros, has a lot of cons. There's a lot of advantages when it comes to that all-in. When it comes to crowd control, they also have Maokai, they have the Camille, and also Lilia to be able to set up those plays. However, they're lacking in damage, which SKIDA definitely has in their favor.
Okay, so now, Boss, hindi na tayo mahulit mga aksyon. Makikita na nga natin ang kaagagahan na wala pang patay. Lahat talaga bubuelo pa lang para makakuha ng kalamangan dito. SSE and SKIDA finally in their last stomping grounds in this series. Both are in their deciders. Backs against the wall. More pressure for both teams. Eto na nga yun, Infinity.
Yeah, it's pretty much time. And you also have a lot of hex stacks coming around for that extra damage, for that extra CC. Nevertheless, these are just pretty much just early game type of pressure for both the sides on who gets it first. And at this point, it's pretty much a slow game, especially considering how Acker is being stationed in the mid lane. And as we all know, a melee versus range matchup is definitely not in the favor of the melee champion. And in the bottom lane, it's Tactical who has to play it safe. So it's stationary across the board. It's pretty much going to be a quiet first couple of minutes in the game.
So instead of Aggro fighting off the Garen, which I do think is much more favorable in terms of the early game because you get so much value from that precision protocol, si Tonte yung lalaban dito sa Garen and Aggro is going to be forced to be playing at a passive pace because Evren does have the rage advantage over here. Plus Chicken Enjoy getting that Demacian Justice now closed in, but now eyeing on a gank right now. Despite the efforts, he gets the decisive strike, movement speed, plus the flash away. And Chicken Enjoyer will live another day.
Yeah, and that's just Garen. We constantly have to reiterate that a Garen is not that easy to kill. And that's the reason why he's one of the top picks in terms of even the CN server, in terms of the different regions in tournaments as well. He's just too strong in terms of tankiness. But in terms of that tower dive, there's just no escape.
They finally get the first blood that they wanted a while ago because Chicken Enjoyer didn't have any flash, and despite the numerous attempts to get that Demacian Justice or even a decisive strike out of the fight, wasn't able to get at least a trade. Tonte was getting down to 1 HP, and oh my god, Fate already invading topside jungle here of Nymeria. It's a good thing he was able to get the Grump before he makes his great escape.
Yeah, he was able to just turn around and retreat. He can easily just go away from Tonte. He has a lot of mobility skills coming in from Lee Sin, but not like this, Fate. You don't have to pursue it, you don't have to push it. 3v1.
Oh my god, Tonte flashes away with Fate with a follow-up. He overextends Nymeria with a full load of HP, just presses one button and deletes the life of Fate despite the effort of Bata Reyes to be even roaming to force a 3v2. Nothing happened in the favor of SKIDA.
That's unfortunate. I think they just overstayed, they overpushed, and overextended at that point. And we all know Fate batting up against Tonte at that point. Yes, he was able to push them back, but there's still a flash available that netted them that turn around for the side of SSE. And now it's a 2k gold lead.
Good situation for SSE. At least this is going to be the early game that they could have wanted from that past game. And right now, it's now coming into full fruition that whenever you get a kill, it's going to catapult into something that you should look forward to into the mid-game. Because with the Jordan's Fist now over to Tonte, this might just be like, you know, a stepping stone for him to take over. Because once the Aedra gets the items, could be an easy follow-up for Tactical or even Akur. Because there's going to be so much healing. It could be so late for SKIDA to understand that you should build anti-heal like right now, as we speak. Like right now, because World Ender is going to do so much value. Plus the sustain that's going to get for SSE. Might just be really, really nice. Because as soon as the objective could be open, could be a roaming side laners to get that first step ahead of the game.
Yeah, Grievous Wound item could come up next. Although right now, I believe the priority would be onto those damage to build onto your first core item coming right through, especially to the likes of EBR and even Zen mode. Although top line will be Fate 1 who pays a visit, but once again, it's just too difficult for them to be able to go hand-in-hand combat up against an Aatrox.
Kakaroon na naman tayo ng palitan dito, and there goes Nature's Grasp. Not gonna catch anybody. Meanwhile, the jungler of SSE just soloing the dragon over to the bottom side. Medyo may late na makaka-react doon si EBR, pero dito naman tayo sa may bandang taas kasi kinukuha na nga na SSE ang objective dito. Pero unahin na muna dito yung buhay ng Galio na tinatanggal nila sa Hextech Ultimatum. 2-man knockup from the Dragon's Rage as they find a disengage for Fate. And Disaster is now zoning out with the sapling, and there goes a huge package now entered in by SKIDA as they now go in for a fight to desperation to get the 50-50 over to the objective, and Fate gets it for SKIDA. But Chicken Enjoy is now deep into enemy lines as they get the life of the Corki plus another one to Chicken Enjoy. Double kill by the Lilia as SSE. They didn't get any objective, but at least they got 2 lives over to SKIDA.
Huge mistakes once again. SKIDA was opting to go into contestant. And the thing is, SSE was just buying time. They already got the Ocean Drake in their favor into the bot side of the map. And then they're just pretty much just waiting for Nymeria. It was SKIDA who was on a time deficit. And then, wherein SSE was able to unite with each other, Efren Batareyes went in with a package in the middle of it all, and then Galio went in for the hero's entrance, but not at the cost of his life already. So there's just so much being stacked on top of this 3v2 though, mid lane.
Oh, Disaster very, very low. That was a very, very bad engage from the Twisted fans already, but it was just good enough for them to chunk them down. This Lilia is heavily fed, and there goes one more first to take down the Ezreal. One more to do it to take that as well as the Galio. And here comes Chicken Enjoyer with the best Garen combo of his life. Demacian Justice over to the Lilia to take him down. Next target is Acker, but with the movement speed, he will be able to run away for his life. SKIDA with a good return kills puts them back in a very good cushion.
Yeah, now Acker opts to go and defend into the bot side of the map. They pretty much have this 4k gold lead already. Good kick to deny that ultimate, but at this point, they're not able to really put a huge gold injection back in their favor. They're still 3k gold behind.
SKIDA, at least they could get something, you know, they could get the pickups as long as they see the opportunity. They're not very hesitant to risk their lives in order to get that bounty, because with SSE scaling, they do have a bounty on their head, and once they get the gold, they could at least even out, you know, the item deficit that they are facing right now, because SSE with this position plus the objective takes, they could easily get the jungle and pressure out Fate ability to get something like a gold or even experience. But right now, SSE just playing around the waves that they are catching. So you're seeing a very, very passive outing here for SSE.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's SKIDA who will net benefit as time goes by wherein nothing's happening. Because the thing is, you have to consider, Efren Batareyes and Zen mode is building first onto that mana mute. They were able to build it, but these two items or these item is not going to give them damage. So when it comes to these times that is not having any deficit in their favor, is not having any casualty in their side, this is a little bit beneficial into this team. And I think that is the reason why they picked up the Lee Sin as well, to actually alleviate some of that pressure coming down into the early game with lack of damage.
Okay. Pretty kind of strong, but I don't know if you can handle a 2v1 though. It's going to be a 3v2 quickly as there goes the resistance here of SSE to add a more insult to injury to the situation here of SKIDA. But there's going to go some poke here to the life of Chicken Enjoyer. Damn, that is some good DPS. That's just Lian using Ripmaker working, plus the passive of the Lilia. So you could probably tell by right now that SSE, they are in for a team fight. They're just waiting for that opportunity, man. As we enter 9 minutes into the game, 4k gold lead here to SSE, which totally means that they rule over both top and bottom like it's an island that they are supposed to take over the moment that they step foot into this route. And once they did, they are just eyeing for any other team fight, probably an objective take with 30 seconds left. They might just go for that Dragon and get that priority in, because there's the position now for Tante, plus the Sivir now ricocheting the minion wave over to the mid. Everything is just going into the situation here. SSE, every minion is pushing, and every side laner is getting that prio. So SSE is playing very textbook gameplay over here.
Yeah, and now the Infernal Drake is up. Every single one of these teams have to have that priority. This will net a lot of benefit, especially going to the side of SKIDA. If they are able to take it down, that will hugely boost the amount of damage that EBR and even Zen mode will be able to produce coming into this game.
Okay. So, no 50-50, 100-0, no contest whatsoever for Fate. Easiest dragon of Nymeria so far. But meanwhile, going to be a reaction here, rotation from Acker to defend the top side tower, but I do think it's going to be given now as SKIDA will be getting their second tower of the game to at least, get some gold. It's going to be really, really important if you have a scaling champion like Zen Mode and Efren Bata Reyes that is relying on both distance plus damage output to get so much out of a potential team fight that SSE could force any time of the day. So SKIDA, they are using this small details to slowly crawl back into a favorable position where they could sleep well at night or get a team fight that could probably alter the chances of SSE getting a major objective.
Oh well, SKIDA is definitely going to sleep at night. Because right now, if we're looking at it, Lilia is fed to the brim. 6-1-0 coming down into 11 minutes into the game, 11k gold in the pockets of himself as well. It's like farming a K per minute into this game for the likes of Lilia. So pretty much SKIDA has to respect Lilia
Oh my God.
or make a huge punish.
Went aggressive with it, not even enchanting the boots. He's just gonna go for more AP up in this build of Nymeria. Really, really scary outing here for SKIDA. You have to be careful because that lifting lullaby is gonna reckon the life out of any member that really oversteps. And there is some very cheeky positions of Efren Bata Reyes, Fate, and Zen Mode na minsan talaga nag-iinit, yung gusto talaga kumuha ng laban. But in this current situation, you have to be conservative because with this fed member of Nymeria, yes, she has a huge bounty on her head. I can guarantee you that, and you want that gold. But then again, you need to conquer the wall first of Tante's sustain plus the tankiness of Disaster. So it's really a tall order for them to get over the life of Nymeria in the first place.
Yeah, for sure. And now the contest is going to be their Hextech Ultimatum started off.
Oh, there goes Nature's Grasp, and there goes the sleep over to two members, and they're gonna first
Massive.
over to the Lee Sin, as there's not going to be a next target because that leaves up an open objective probably to make this a 4v5. No more smite to the side of SKIDA. They could hopefully
Turn
hope for
around.
something, probably a Mystic Shot or even a Missile Barrage, but they're going to go for a team fight instead. Hero's Entrance not going to do any value, but they're going to take over the life of Tactical in that team fight, putting Disaster in under 1 HP. Chicken Enjoyer and Descalia is still relatively healthy because of their sustain, and they're going to contest this in the most justifiable way possible. Zen Mode now into the fight under 1k HP. Who's gonna get it? It's gonna be on the hands of Nymeria. There goes a Stoneplay enchantment and a flash away for safety for Chicken Enjoyer. It would have been close as a messy team fight for SSE, but still they got the parent plus the lives of some members of SKIDA.
Yeah, but Fate was not there. And you still have the smite coming in from Nymeria, so it was no questions asked unless they were able to kill Nymeria. But you have to take into consideration, Nymeria is pretty much fed across the board up against every single one of these players, so it's not going to be an easy task. And on top of that, right now, SSE has taken every single objectives in the game as of yet.
This is a very scary Nature's Grasp, and it even roots down the Corki. But the Descalia is going to be taken down here by SSE as they continue this momentum of a push to the Tier 2 tower. Chicken Enjoyer trying his best to use the Judgment as a wave clear. Demacia Injustice going to be the first time that we've seen an ultimate of a Garen that tickles the life out of anyone here of SSE. So that's a very bad sign here for SKIDA. Everything is just desperation at this point. Hextech Ultimatum to lock down Efren Bata Reyes. He's not hitting anything. That's a bad shot over to the Corki. And meanwhile, this Aatrox is doing damage over to the Ezreal. As right now, SSE opening up the base of SKIDA, opening up the gates. This might just be the decider here, Infinity.
Yeah, as the wave pour in onto the base, they could target down the inhib turret into the top lane as well. SKIDA with only 3 players alive here. This could be the end of the inhib turret top.
Message sent loud and clear. SSE is not here to play, denying the reverse sweep. SSE now opening up the base, and there goes Chicken Enjoyer, trying his best to deal so much damage. Insect Kick to add more style points to the inevitable. SKIDA cornered out of their situation right now. SSE closing out the series 2-1 to give them the advancement to the next round.
Yeah, amazing stuff coming into the side of SSE. They were able to dominate coming in for the early game and was able to scale and balloon that goal lead into a winning matchup. And as we have mentioned, it still takes time for that Corki and for that Ezreal to be able to scale up when it